Well, here we are. It's the 2nd of May. Much later than I planned on leaving, but circumstances, and it all worked out. Things are fixed. Ready to roll. Just finished loading up stuff from storage to take to Maureen along the way. And we're heading out road tripping with Ralph. So we're going to drive tonight. The goal was to get to Ohio, but we may not because we're getting started late. But, I'll let you know. So we're coming up to one of the great one of the great historic pieces in America that you probably never heard of. This is Cahokia Mounds. And we're going to go to the top and take a look around. This was the largest mound city in North America. It was the largest city in North America until the mid-1700s when Philadelphia actually had more people. This city goes back to, I believe, around somewhere between 800 and 1000 AD. We're driving through the complex. There were a lot of other mounds. There's a huge playing field. It kind of has a very Central American vibe as far as layouts.
In a quarter mile, you will arrive at your destination.
But so we're going to climb up to this and take a look, and I'll get back to you. So this is a little more in detail. This first shot, you can see what I believe the site looked like. And that very top right is the top mound. It's called Monk's Mound now because at one point a group of monks lived up there and farmed. And then here is a better shot. So the mound was started somewhere around 800, and it peaked around 1050 to 1150. They figured it had a population close to 20,000, which was huge. This whole site is about 6 acres, and it had about 120 mounds. Several of those were bulldozed through for roads and stuff, and they didn't realize it was important. So some of it's demolished, but we're going to go ahead and climb on up. So we've reached the first level. You can see the second level awaits. Onward and upward, fellow travelers. Okay, so we're at the top, and we're looking down on what was the Grand Plaza. You can see there's twin mounds at the south end. There were some mounds over here, but they've been destroyed. But the trees were not here. This was just a grand ceremonial plaza. Further to the west, you can see the city of St. Louis. You might be able to make out the arch. We'll see a better view of that shortly. The river has moved over the course of years a little further away, but you can see there's tributaries still there. All right, so you can see a little bit of a rise here. This was where the temple / chief's house set in the original village. It was burned down. Excavation shows it rebuilt several times as there were changes in political climates and whatever. But it's still an elevated spot, and we're going to go up there. All right, fellow travelers, we're going to try to do a little scan here. Once again, there is St. Louis across the Mississippi. As we scan to the right, you're looking at eastern Missouri. As you can see, it's just flatless forest, boundless. Come back around to the north, a few trees, but now we're looking at southern Illinois, and that will continue around all the way here. Still Illinois, again flat, fertile land, and then south to Memphis and Tennessee. So we're looking west at a field where they had their own form of Stonehenge with cedar posts, which they used to deal with, solstice, equinoxes, and all that same kind of stuff. But remember, this was between 700 and 1100 AD. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, fellow travelers, we're in the Mixmaster coming into St. Louis. Hopefully you're going to get a good shot of the Mississippi River and the Gateway Arch. So, if it doesn't work out, I'll apologize in advance. I'm only an apprentice videographer, not a master. Apologize for the shakiness, but the road is crap. But we're coming around. There you go. You should be getting a good view of the arch. Symbolizes St. Louis's place in American history as the gateway to the west. Lewis and Clark started their famous expedition from here that went all the way up
I-55 south, I-64 west.
Up the Mississippi, up the Missouri, and they eventually made it to the northwest Washington, Oregon coast and back. If you get a chance, you should definitely check out the Ken Burns special.
1.5 miles. Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 42 west, 64 west.
Everybody's trying to get into St. Louis. It's a busy intersection. Interstate 64 comes in here. 70 east to west goes through here. 55 from Chicago down goes through here. It's a very busy junction, as as it has been historically. But we're moving, so that's not bad. And hopefully we'll get up here and you can get a good shot. Try and get a shot of the Mississippi. No guarantees, due to the fact that I do like to keep both hands on the wheels in this situation. Just typical big city traffic, where we're trying to cram 6 lanes into 3. Some engineer thought it was a good idea. Civil engineer. So there you can get another shot of the arch. I know people have gone up in it. You go up, there's an observation deck at the very top. I personally have not been able to do that. So, hopefully you can see the Mississippi. So we're here at Carthage, Missouri, at the cemetery, and this is the
Parkland Cemetery.
Parkland Cemetery, and my mother's great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather, correct? Yeah.
This is our
On her
fourth
mother's
grade,
side.
which is her third grade.
Her third grade, and this is our fourth grade. We didn't know these people were here. We lived 30-40 minutes away for years. So so we have J.H., which was her great-grandfather, our great-great.
He's our fourth
grade?
Yes. This
Okay.
is mother's her third grade.
Her third grade, our fourth grade. And you know, we didn't know anything about the Bushes. They just appeared in Colorado out of nowhere, probably delivered by aliens. Yeah, I'm sure.
Some of the in-laws would say that, yeah.
Yeah, so some of the in-laws would say that. So this, and then this is Abigail, his wife. So, you know, trying to get some family history. This trip is about family history. So now we're going to go see if we can find the other Bushes. Apparently there was a whole bunch of them here. And the irony is, one of their descendants ended up marrying into the Adcocks, which came from northern Missouri, up by St. Joseph. Just really strange. So here we are. We found the others, the Logstons, Susan and George W., whose daughter married in to the family, Abigail. And then here is the Bush Stone for Samuel S. And it's hard to read.
Which is Abigail's son.
Her son.
From her
And
husband.
our fourth.
This
third.
is our third great grandfather. Abigail's buried over there with John. Okay. Who was our fourth great grandfather.
This is his son Samuel. Here.
I don't know where Lillian is.
So,
She's in.
you know, continuing to work it back.
Lillian was buried in. Let me think here.
So Samuel
Let's see here.
Bush, his wife is buried in La Junta, and she was our grandmother Helen's grandmother. So they came from Carthage to La Junta. Now we know they were not delivered by aliens.
Yep, second great.
Okay, so we're here. This is Travis and the man of the hour, Mr. Russell.
Oh,
Yeah,
not my kid.
not Travis's.
That's Travis.
Yeah, that's Travis's little daughter. But and this young lady,
Say that again.
My Aunt Jan.
her aunt is the Aunt Jan, who is the cookie inspector. But we're having a great time here at Matt and Wendy's. Yeah. And you are?
I'm Janice's friend, Cheryl. And this is my husband, Lee.
Lee, glad to meet you.
Yes.
This is Jonathan, who's gotten a little taller than we saw him last.
I get thinned out a little bit.
And his lovely wife, and I'll mispronounce her name.
Amica.
Amica. Not Amika. Not the insurance. Charity, Mr. Russell's mom, and Robbie's better half.
Came into that.
And Robbie, chief fire architect.
Yep.
He likes it crispy.
Yep.
And Dave and Darcy over here enjoying the side. Darcy made incredible salad, which I will get that recipe. It's going on several potlucks in Connecticut.
Things of pasta.
So this is, Ralph, the tour director. It's gonna be titled "Rodin with Ralph." when John gets through with it. And this is Tina, Travis's wife. We met Travis earlier. So, and that is their daughter. I forgot the name. Audrey. There's too many names. So, yeah, there's a bunch of them.
So what have you been up to?
And this is all the great grandkids.
Mamas do?
Axons, swinging, trampolines.
Now they know it's
And this is Brother Robert. All these grandkids out here are his. Yeah, so
I'd love to go visit Tom in New York.
so we're back to a little taping here. Robert, his lovely and understanding wife Esther. Yeah. And Robbie again. Jonathan and his son Jadian. Okay. I'm sorry. I got 25 names in 5 minutes this morning. I'm not as quick as I used to be. Right. This is Travis and Tina with their family.
Yeah.
On the left is Ryan.
I'm not getting like 8 hours.
Your left,
Lately I have
Yeah.
Ryan,
Carter.
Audrey, Haley.
Haley. Hoodles.
Ugly.
All right. So this is Jonathan and Amica. You know I'm going to say the other. With their kids, Jadian and Calvin and the lovely young lady, Aria. All right. And Cedric is hiding in the tent. But it's not hard to spot. He looks just like his father did.
There he is, like a little gopher.
Like a gopher. There he is. Okay, now we have Matt and Wendy and their two adorable children, Jason and Lydia, correct? All right. Yeah. Well, you know, at some point I got to get it together. So there they are. Subnote: we had this fabulous party at their house. This is their great yard. Trampoline, axe throwing, you name it. All right. And Robbie and Charity and the man of the hour, Mr. Russell. You'll be fine. Oh, you got this. Right, man. So Robert and Esther, all this is their fault. And Susie, you know, who's trying to keep everybody wrangled, I noticed. She does a good job being the cool aunt. Well, morning, Facebook friends. It's Monday, May 8th, and I'm here with my dad, Ralph, and we're ready to do the Rodin with Ralph tour. So we're parked at, you know, our family home. You know, it's my grandparents' house, now it's Dad's house in Little Flock, a little suburb of Rogers, Arkansas. It's sunny, humid, and 70-something. And so today the goal is to, we're going to go through Blue, Oklahoma, where my grandmother was born. And then on down to Stephenville, Texas. And tomorrow we'll look at my grandfather's side. So,
In Comanche County.
There you go, Comanche County. So, say hi, Dad.
Hi, guys.
So, there we go. Rodin with Ralph is underway. So the town of Little Flock really wasn't a town when I was born and when we moved back here. But wasn't there something about a dump, Dad?
Well, the city of Rogers and Bentonville was going to buy an old deep hollow over here for a trash dump. And my father was in real estate, and he didn't think he wanted the trash trucks driving past his house and creating all that dust and dirt because there was no paved roads. Everything was gravel and rougher than a corn cob.
Oh, true story.
And so he was complaining to his buddy down at one of the little towns down south of Rogers down there. And he said, well, Pointer, ain't no problem. Just get a charter and go around and sign up the neighbors that wants to become a town and form your own town. Well, in the city of Little Flock, there's a Baptist church that's been there for over 100 years. And that's what it's called, the Little Flock Baptist Church. So Dad and a notary and a witness drove nights and signed up 2,700 acres to join the city. In the process, well, they went to Little Rock and got the charter that cost them $25 or $30. And when they come back from Little Rock, the city of Little Flock was born. So they put him the first mayor. Well, he didn't have no road graders. He tried to borrow one from the city of Rogers in Bentonville, and they said, no, you don't let us dump trash over there. You can't use our equipment. And so Dad goes back down to his buddy down in Bethel Heights. And he said, now look, what kind of hogwash did you get me into? He said, I can't get the roads graded. They won't do nothing. Why, he said, ain't no problem, Pointer. You go over to the county judge and tell him what you need, and said he'll buy you brand new equipment. So that's what he did. He got a road grader, a truck, and all kinds of good stuff, so he could take care of the city, and this has just become a real great city since then. A lot of people really try hard to buy property out here because it's not stacked on top of each other. It's usually everything's got an acre or two to it, and so he was the first mayor, and he come time for re-election, he said nope. He said, I've served my sentence, somebody else can have it from here on out. And they started paving the roads, and they said, well, I guess Pointer will pave the road in front of his house first. And Dad said, no, that's the last one that gets paved. He said, I don't want them people speeding by my house 80 miles an hour on a gravel road, on a nice new paved road. Said if it's long, rough gravel road for a mile or two, said that'll slow them down. So it was the last road in Little Flock that was paved was the road in front of his house.
Yeah. And, I went down to the post office in City Hall, and there is a huge, and I mean huge, I think it probably comes to my chin, picture of him. You walk in, it's right up there on the wall, staring down, and I immediately like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was like, oh my Lord, you're talking to a picture. So there you go. That's the story of the home place, hometown. When I was young, big garden. One year we did an acre of potatoes. He had ponds. We'd go up there fishing. And being a smart businessman is, we got less and less. I think when you first came, you guys dairied, right?
Yeah. And we had a dairy when we first moved here. And then after all the kids left, didn't have no help left, I joined the Navy, and my other brother was off running around somewhere. So him and Mom decided to sell the dairy cows and buy Angus cattle. So that's what he did. He got rid of the dairy cows and got a bunch of Angus. And that's what he had when he finally sold out the cows and then sold off part of the farm. He sold off 40 acres across the road. And, he had 60 acres over there.
Yeah, those lots are big. There's only like 4 or 5 houses over there.
Yeah, there's pretty good sized lots over there.
Yeah.
But he sold off that 40 acres. You must have been there that way. And so he sold off that 40 acres, and he kept 10 acres over there where the old dairy barn was, and a house where my little sister gave her to him, and 1/2 acres over there to build her a house. She built a house, and then he gave me 2 3/4 acres for taking care of Peggy and making sure everything was all right. So I did that all the rest of her life. And
when I was younger, Grandpa's brother Ed and his wife Alice had a trailer over there behind the barn and goats.
yeah. And they'd get right on top of Dad's car and just really upset him.
And I remember, Grandma always trying to pass off some of that goat milk. Oh my Lord. But it was good for the babies, I guess. But ugh. But those, that was so. That's the story of the homestead. All right, so we're gonna sign off for now. Okay, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna get gas and do a little strategic replanting here. So, all right, bye. All right, so here we are in very southern Oklahoma. We can spit to Texas from here, but we're heading into Blue. Blue is where is recorded. My grandmother was born, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Her birth certificate says 1910, but the census from 1910 says looks like she was 2 years old. So, but the official paper says 1910. So, where did they come from to be here? Do you know?
From out of Texas. Yeah.
Left.
Oh, yeah, we gotta go that way.
So they came out of Texas.
Yeah. Come out of Clarksville, Texas.
Was that had they come out before or after the war? You think?
Oh, they come out after the war. Mom was born in 19. If she was 2 years old, that would have been 1908.
Yeah.
And,
No, but I mean weren't her people from back in Tennessee initially?
Well, Tennessee, Kentucky is where Grandpa was, right? Sayursville, Kentucky. That's where he was born. They come out from Kentucky. Now, I don't know. Grandma Stone, she might have been
Local.
local. I don't know where Grandpa Stone come from, but that was his.
Grandma's dad came from Kentucky, Tennessee.
Yeah, and Grandma Stone, which was my mother's mother, well, I don't know where she came from.
So we did research. David did a lot of research. The courthouse burned down many years ago. So there's no birth and death records. And we can't find, grave markers or even the cemetery offices don't even have a record of them being there. But the 1910 census says they were here on section 7. Although it's hard to tell what part. Although we think it's the best thing to figure out. It's we think it's over in the west side of the county, or the township, whatever you want to call it. But again, there was no real markers. But we're going to go through anyway. Take a look. Say, tip of the hat. How do you do?
Smile and grin.
Yeah. But I could see why you move up this way. I mean, it's good farm country. Just endless rolling hills. I call it exactly flat, but there's not. I wouldn't call anything a hill. Too much of a hill either.
It's great for cattle.
Oh yeah, that's all I'm saying. Cattle and wheat.
better start talking or John will have nothing to do.
Good morning, fellow travelers. It's Tuesday, and we just left the hotel in Stephenville, Texas. We are on our way south to Carlton, where my grandfather was born, and where Dad's grandfather lived, and his great-grandfather is buried. So we're going to be down there checking out, see if we can, find the homestead, do a little grave visitation. And then we're going to head over to Proctor and see if maybe we can connect to one of Dad's cousins. Her and her husband are peanut farmers. And then we'll be heading west to New Mexico. So we'll update you later. Just thought I'd give you a little shot of what the Texas Hill Country looks like out here. We're going around Channel Hills. A lot of live oak, white oak trees, and those mesquite trees. That's the smaller, kind of less full trees. But Dad just told me a story about mesquite beans.
They have beans on them with seeds in them. And back when I was a kid, that was like candy does when they dried out. We'd chew on those and suck the sugar out of them, and it was really something good to mess with when you're out playing, Every kid I ever knew ate mesquite beans. Well, it didn't like them.
Because you didn't have a candy store handy.
No candy store within 20 miles of us,
It's a little hazy this morning, but it's nice. Looks clear. It's going to be almost 90 today, but it was cool this morning. Getting out, getting loaded, and you can see why people settled here. It's not so flat. There's still some trees. Still coming across some streams and lakes. But and here's a good shot looking out. So this is South Central Texas, or Central Texas. We're probably an hour southwest of Fort Worth, kind of right between Fort Worth, Abilene, and I guess San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio's way up there,
Austin, maybe.
Yeah, we're probably 3 hours out of Austin.
Yeah, so kind of really in the heart of Texas.
Yeah, this is what you would call the heart of Texas.
So, all right, see you later. So, here we are in Carlton, Texas. My grandfather was born here, right?
Birthplace of Everett E.
And he was the youngest, right?
Yeah.
How many?
8, I think.
In 1,000 feet, you will arrive at your destination.
Yeah. I don't know if you can get a good look at that.
You have arrived.
Yeah, and you can see some of the old buildings are still here. So which way you think we need to go?
Well, I think we'll go down this way.
2023? Yeah. Oh, 219.
I think that's what it seems to me like they have a little bit of a place like for shopping. There's plenty of down there on this end. I don't know.
Some of these homes look like they may have been here.
Yeah. Out there, they sure needs a roof on it. So, we got a big place here. Well, there's
Probably church.
main
Carlton Baptist.
the graveyard was. Seemed to be like. I don't know where the graveyard's at.
Well,
I thought it was on the north part of town. That would be right along in here, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Chap crawling around down yonder. Take Nick had a mate. She probably whoop his ass like a.
And mine.
You were ready to stepchild, wouldn't
Yeah.
she?
Oh, yeah, Miss Zoe is not going to share. When she got done with them, she come after me.
There you go. That shit.
Yeah, well, don't look
I
like
don't even
there's...
see a service station, do you?
No.
Fiber internet phone company, so they don't have a Bell telephone.
Yeah, there ain't much here. Well, there's the volunteer fire and rescue. They got that going.
Well, so, where the hell? We didn't see a service on that road we come in on.
No. I know they got one.
So we're gonna turn around and we'll come back down that way.
Cruise down here just a little more. It's pretty country though.
Yeah, it's a nice country. Now they got a big building over there. I don't know what that represents. There seems to be some farmer out there, but it looks like they got options there. So it's all vending company.
Because they ain't see a single soul.
Volunteer fire department. Look at that old building there.
Is that adobe or stone?
It's the old stone building, yeah.
Yeah. I stopped and go knock on the door, but I'm afraid I might get shot.
Oh yeah, well, let's just
Well,
ease on back down
well,
this
this old shack looks like it's been here
forever.
forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got the old wood.
Shingles underneath.
Yeah.
God, I bet this son just leaks like a sieve.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's probably why the door's wide open.
Huh?
Probably why the door's wide open. Oh, they put them a mobile home back.
Yeah, in the back.
Probably grandma's place.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go knock on the telephone.
Let's go down this hill. I don't want that telephone coming.
We'll go down towards Double a bit.
We coming down there. We come in on a highway.
Yeah, we went down towards
No,
towards
it's not
Double.
over that way.
Yeah, well,
It might be down this way.
yeah. I seen a couple flags with guns that come and take us. So I don't think I'm gonna go knock on the door because I'm not wearing boots and a Stetson.
Billy Hallsworth, sheriff.
Go ahead. Thank you. Yeah, I'm an idiot. It's okay.
There's the post office.
All right. Yeah. We'll come back
The
there.
building here's been there too.
Oh my lord, yeah. The post office should be open by now. It's almost 9 o'clock.
If anybody's in it.
Well, I reckon it takes them a good while to get out and get all the mail delivered. Alright, I'm gonna go back to the post office.
I sure would like to find a freaking graveyard, but I Can't. Careful, I think it's your cousin. That no good cousin. Go out and see who's in the driveway.
See no car there.
It's got a sign on the window. What's it say? Help soliciting. Hell, they might live there in the back. Hell, who knows?
Sweet Miss Effie's the postmistress.
Okay. Nobody here?
No. I'm thinking let's go back out by that church because there's a hand-drawn map that shows that church, but then up the road shows another church.
Okay.
And that would be the logical place to put them out that direction.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell it was a,
A thriving town at one time.
not a big place, but
There's a little fire. We wonder what. Did we go out that road?
we came in that road.
No,
I didn't see nothing there.
no, I didn't. This is the church. We'll go down this road here for a little ways to see what's out there.
And we'll try that one. That's a good stitch. Or maybe what I do is just flag somebody down. 'Cause I don't see nobody outside their house.
See, there ain't nobody working today, so just everybody takes the day off.
It's Taco Tuesday. You need to get ready. All that.
You see, there's been that new gates around all that shit. West Side Stellar. I'll be text later. Alright, there ain't I don't see no graveyard out here. Is it Dublin 16 miles?
Yeah.
I thought we just got through Dublin.
No, we just came through Carlton.
Carlton.
Yeah, there was a sign we passed because you thought we were going to go. We ended up going through Alexander. We'll go back down and take a right.
Dublin. Well, I don't know.
You want to go into Dublin?
Well, that's 16 miles over there. But we can go back down there, maybe we can see somebody.
Well, I think we go down the church and take a right. Suppose there's another church up the road.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Because
Well,
I can see here for quite some ways there ain't nothing up here.
Ain't no cemetery anywhere here. Big old storage tank there, so we better turn around and go back the other direction. So you think you'd see somebody doing something? Wouldn't you?
Yeah. There. We're on that hill.
Okay. Here's the cemetery over there. How the fuck do we get to it? There gotta be a road leading back this way.
I'm going to say we'll go back down to that church and take a right. Because I didn't see a road.
There's a big cemetery right there, yeah. Seemed to me like there was more business to Carlton than that when I was here 15 years ago.
That's just somebody's driveway. Usually there's a small sign. Yeah, that makes it. We'll go down here and take a right. And I bet there's a. Does seem a ways out of town though. So right here we have Babe and Maggie.
Maggie and Babe, yeah.
And this was
Everett Pointer's sister.
my grandpa's sister.
This here is Jose Francis, and he's Grandpa's cousin.
This is his son.
And then this is Grandpa's, my great grandma. Tabitha was my great grandma. The Sleeping Jesus, 1988. And then this is G.W. Pointer, born May 21st, 1841, and died in 86. Now that's my great grandpa.
And he was the one that first came here, or was it?
He first came here from wherever they came from, yeah.
And then he sent all his sons off to the war,
Yeah.
and only your grandpa came back?
Well, no, he didn't go to war. Grandpa didn't go to war. Just Grandpa's, my dad's sons went to war. Brothers, but his son didn't.
So whose son was in Pea Ridge?
That's this guy right here.
All right, so one of his sons was in
Yeah,
Pea Ridge.
G.W.P. Ridge. That no, the original.
This is the guy who was at Pea Ridge.
Yes, this is the guy that's P. Ridge.
So he was shot, and it took him 3 months to get back down here.
Yeah. The Battle of P. Ridge was over with, and he didn't live very long after he got back.
All right, and this is Grandpa's father.
Will be my dad's grandpa.
Yeah. All right, so your great-grandpa, my great-great.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Luella Whitten, that's part of the cousins over there.
Yeah.
Now let's see who we got here.
So we finally found the Carlton Cemetery. For one stoplight, it wasn't even a stoplight, it's a stop sign town. We didn't see anybody anywhere. We had to drive around, but we finally found it. And we managed to locate one of the Pointer sections, but my yeah. So my great-great-grandfather, I took a picture of his headstone earlier, and my grandfather's two sisters who died during the flu in 1918, about 5 days apart, and but their father and mother are there, and a cousin, you know, his Jose Francis. Now we couldn't find Uncle Jose's grave, but you know, it's here somewhere. It's here somewhere. He is buried here as well. So I hope you can get a good sight of this. This is just the wildflowers here in Texas. Yucca and Indian basket, maybe a little Queen Anne's and some thistle, but they're just wild patches throughout. It's just gorgeous. So we're here with one of Dad's cousins. First cousin, second cousin? First cousin. So if you don't know, haven't figured out who Ralph is, that's him on the left, and that's his cousin Vivian. Valerie, sorry. And her husband Ike. And we're here in Gustine, Texas, in the heart of Texas.
Yeah.
Look at this. All right, so we just got through visiting Dad's cousin Valerie, and she set us straight. We were on the right track this morning. We just turned left where we should turn right because there's no sign. So we're going back. We're going to stop by the cemetery. A lot of kinfolk are at, and then we're going to go out to Great Grandpa's place.
Last time I was at.
Okay, so we finally found the right cemetery, thanks to his cousin Valerie. And here is Ralph Stevens, who was the other Ralph, and his partner in crime. And this was Aunt Ellie's son? Or Lavelle's son?
Lavelle's son.
This is Lavelle's son, so that, you know, so this is Dad's cousin. So we found Great Grandpa's farm. We crossed Restless Creek just a minute ago, and so Dad, take it away. This was what?
This was the farm, the river bottoms.
And they did oats here. And
Oats, just whatever they raised, corn, oats for the horses, and feed for the cattle.
And they left this because they kept getting flooded out.
The Restless Creek kept washing them out. They couldn't. Grandpa just got fed up with replanting and losing his crops every time it's time to harvest, so he just gave up and sold the farm and moved to New Mexico.
Because we all know it doesn't flood there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a nice spread. So would the house been around? Here would have been?
Well, no, it might have been, yeah.
Oh, there's an old windmill.
Yeah,
You think it's it?
could have been.
Well, we'll go a little farther.
I think it's probably it.
It's fairly rusty up top. It don't take long to get rusty out here.
Nice, you get rocks. The farmlands up here is good up on top. Maybe it was down there, okay. So we're not, you said you got a buddy on the ship with Tolerant?
Oh no! There was that first cemetery. There was a name.
No. Ike's last name.
Oh, Tedford. Yeah,
Tedford.
the guy I worked with. This wouldn't have been it, is it?
No, it's,
I mean, that's an old house.
yeah, it's an old house. No, it was closer to the creek than this. Well, boy, them spent a ton of money for that big pipe. I don't think he had anything like this.
Okay.
That's, but I think he's going around here right to another road over yonder that way. I backpack.
That'd be good. So this is approximately where my great-grandfather's ranch house was. We are outside of Lambkin, Texas. And the only thing left is that old windmill of the old place. But we found it. So this is the Daniels family reunion campground. They got an acre here, and they all come out and park. And the Daniels are related by great-grandpa's sister Minnie, and she married into Daniels, and they comes down that way. But everybody's heard about this reunion location. Dad never saw it, so now here it is. So we are almost to the New Mexico line this morning on Wednesday. It's just a little afternoon, and so Dad's going to explain about it's been flat as a tabletop all the way up to just now. We came over this ridge, and now Dad's going to tell you what this is all about.
Well, it's a Camp Rock is what we call it down here.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Ivy Road.
And all the land up on top was all flat back as far as we drove. Then you drop off this Camp Rock, and you drop back into another little valley, and then you're going to find it'll be flat again here pretty soon. Maybe a little rolling hill, but not as flat as it was coming out there across West Texas, you know. But you can see kind of what I was talking about, the Camp Rocks at least on the left-hand side, and they're back up behind us here on the right, and it's kind of fading down, and it'll all be into a nice valley up here in about another 6 or 8 miles, 10. Outside that, well, everything will be smooth, you know.
Except the damn wind.
Now the wind's really getting it.
Every tree out here is leaning at a 45-degree angle. You know. Oh, and there's a picnic area. I don't know how you're going to picnic out here. We could see dust on the horizon.
You didn't have to worry about the potato chips. They never blew away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been in wind off of the last probably hour and a half before we got out of the umbrella.
This is Saturday morning cowboy movie right here. I don't know if you saw it, there's a couple of windmills, and we passed two back here. They were just wheeling. It was like a strobe light. The sun was hitting it just right. It was flashing. And we're trying to figure out why there's a strobe light out in the middle of this field. Oh, it's a windmill going too fast.
antelope. If you see one, you'll notice his head is usually down on the ground. And the only reason for that is he found a blade of grass and he can hang on to it as long as he don't chew it and keep from blowing over into the next cow.
But are we going to see the rare jackalope?
Well, let's hope. That would be
I haven't seen one since I saw that mounted one at Grandpa Hancock's favorite barbershop in Rocky Ford.
well, I haven't seen one lately. They're out and around. Jersey, snake down trail. They're talking about the lady that got fucked in the department store.
And the two others that said he sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
And then he admitted to on that interview, yeah, I just grabbed my pussy, it's fine. So, oh, sorry, we'll delete all that. So, here we are. We just got into San Juan in the Badlands of New Mexico. And we are heading up towards Logan, where Dad was born. And we're going to go to Porter, where he started school.
First. Then we're going up to Logan.
Yeah, we'll go, because Porter's kind of on the way.
It's kind of halfway in between, supposedly.
Well, most people look at those connected places like. So here we are, the endless prairie of eastern New Mexico.
Wake County 60.
Can you see it?
I can see that tree. Back up a little bit. I can't really. Yeah, you got a break. Yeah, you got it now. I think. All right. Yeah.
So here we are in suburban Porter with a classic example of,
Needing a little minor tune-up.
but the adobe with wood over it, was that kind of
Adobe with plaster.
plaster? And that's what, was that what the homestead was like?
Yeah, plaster.
There you go.
We had rock on ours.
Oh, rock.
Yeah. It was just like with chunk.
Oh, those, those Easterners, they got to be fancy. So, we're somewhere between Logan and San Juan, trying to find the home place. But once again, landmarks are gone. But we feel like it's somewhere out in this general vicinity. All right.
I mean, when I was there.
So here we are at Dad's Elementary School, Bosque Farm Schools, in south of Albuquerque. Yeah, was it a hike from the house over here?
Oh yeah, it was about a mile, I guess.
Yeah.
Half to half a mile. A mile to 3/4 to half a mile. Quite a way. To me, it seemed like it was a long way. Being in first grade, you could walk for 3 days, but actually it wasn't that far. And but I'd say probably about a mile from the house.
Yeah. And if you look at it, you can see what a difference this is from Logan. So we understand why they came here. And they got water too. So we're gonna mosey on down, see if we can find some of the old style houses. Okay, this is a example of the kind of house Dad lived in when they were here, except instead of having that total flat top, they had dirt on top.
It was a flat dirt top. Yeah.
Flat dirt top.
And it had the logs holding up the roof.
And you can see the logs coming out that side,
The
and
walls was 18-inch adobe brick stuccoed with concrete floors. I mean,
yeah.
solid built home.
You can see the logs coming out there. So this is the junior high, or where the junior high was that Dad went to school. The next door is the Solomon Luna High School, where his older brother and 2 older sisters went. And he says this is still the same ball field that they played on, but they did build a new gym. And this is the water tower, where he'd have to run and climb up halfway up and sit on the crossbars to eat his lunch, because a lot of the other boys were coming after their lunches. So him and most of the white boys and the Indian boys would go climb up there. This is all in Los Lunas, New Mexico, south of Albuquerque. Alright, so we are coming to the end of the day. We are in Arizona. We are doubling back to the Four Corners Monument. We already came through Farmington and Shiprock. You know, the wind has been brutal again today.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, we had a great time in Albuquerque with Kelly and Rick. Of course, I forgot to get a picture of the 3 of them, but we had a good time. It's good to see them. But this shot you're looking at is we're coming through Arizona, and I believe over to the right, as we get around this hill, will be Colorado. That's where that you may be able to see the Snow Peak Mountains over there. Yep. So we're about 3 miles out. So we'll check back in.
That's the reason we had that herd of cars a while ago. They was stopping them down.
Yeah, I seen a lot all of a sudden
That's what I couldn't figure out. What the hell's with these people coming down through here like that?
caravanning.
But I would say that's probably our ticket right yonder.
Yeah.
So there's 6 flags over there. 5 flags.
Yeah.
No, 2, 4. There's 6, 7 flags. United States flags, and then we got
The 4 state flags, probably. I think the Navajo flag.
yeah, probably. I don't know. If you can't, we'll just take a picture from here over there. There's what the 4 corners look like. Oh. But that's the only thing I can figure that would be with you, because we ain't but a mile away from it.
Half mile, yeah. Go down, make a left on half mile to that turn.
Yeah, it'd be a half mile down there at that turn. He must be going across this draw up there where this bridge is at. One lane road or whatever. Must be pretty important. They keep working them. Well, they're getting it ready for the summer traffic, ain't they?
Yeah.
Coming out of Cortez and coming up this way to the 4 corners, because I'm sure this is big. I can see a car coming across from yonder now. But I'm sure this is one of the big tourist resorts for Arizona. Got some behind us or no?
There's someone rolling up now. Well, good morning, fellow travelers. This morning we are in Utah, and there is the first big mountain We just came off the hill. I couldn't take a picture, but there are mountains to the left, mountains to the south, and these boys driving 90 miles an hour.
You can shoot this one.
And I think I can get you a shot. Those mountains over there are back in Colorado.
Around Grand Junction. probably.
South of Grand Junction, north of Telluride. So we'll keep you updated. So here we are. We just came down the mountain, coming out of Monticello, Utah. We're heading into towards Moab and Arches National Park. This was Dad's first big mobile home trip. Middle of the night, standing on the brakes. So it's amazing. There's a canyon off to the left. I don't think you can see it, but there are trees that are at the bottom of the canyon. You can barely see their tops. I don't know what mountain that is ahead of us, but this one's there's a great over to the left there. This truck, kind of a dome rock with a crown. It looks like a crown. Some pretty impressive stuff out here. Scenery is just, as you can see, amazing. Hopefully you can see it. Now you can get a better look. Hopefully you can get a better look at that rock formation. Almost looks like faces up there on the top.
There he is.
This is Dad and Dawson having a little time.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Dad's in full grandpa mode.
Oh boy.
Dawson is Sydney's son, Sydney and Tristan. And you know, for those of you who don't know who Sydney is, it's one of Dan and Shannon's girls.
We can't both get our hands in.
You know, also in the picture are Shannon and her daughter, Stephanie.
I'll see if I.
And this Miss Sarah, she's just wondering what's going on here. She's been bright-eyed and bushy-tailed since early this morning. Yeah. And Sarah is Miss Annie's newest baby. Yeah. And she's just chill. Here we go. Dawson and Lucy getting the royal treatment ride with the cool Aunt Stephanie.
Yeah, I'm the favorite aunt.
Yeah. Right up until they need Grandma and Papa.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a recording. This is Dan's bunch, part of them. It's Dan on the top, and Shannon, and then Sydney, and then there's Annie and Grandpa and Stephanie. Annie's holding the Super Sarah, the little go-getter, and in the wagon we got Dawson and Miss Lucy. Yeah. All right, so now we've got Dad and Annie and Sarah and Dan and Miss Lucy. Okay.
Now, Tom, are you set up for a picture?
Yep. To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dan Blood. Happy birthday to you. Woo! There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, at 87. Celebrated in Logan, Utah.
Happy birthday, Grandpa.
Happy birthday, Dad. Well, good morning. Here we are on the road out of Logan. heading back east. We are currently heading, next point of interest is Bear Lake, and we'll be in Wyoming. So we're going up the canyon. It's pretty cool, but hopefully you can get a shot of some of the water. Everything is overrunning the dams. There's a good shot. You can see it's broken the booms. But that's the third dam we've seen in there that's overrun. And there's still snow way up there. So I just wanted you to kind of get a glimpse of the canyon as we're heading along. It's incredibly beautiful.
What interested us that it was 100 feet, some of that snow.
Yeah, they say there's still severely heavy snowpack up there, but they've had some cool days, so it's been melting, but it isn't a flash melt like happened last year. So, but there's low-level flooding here. We just passed a campground that picnic tables, you had to swim from one to the other. You know, so and we can still see snow up on top of the shorter mountains in front of us. The bigger mountains are around Logan. Way heavy snowpack still up there. So, but yeah, there's whitecaps in that river all the way along. And we reckon it's probably pretty chilly. Don't know that I'm gonna
Go for a swim today. No swimming.
No swimming. Because it might be one of those cases where you do that perfect swan dive, and then you're doing Swan Lake right across the top, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's not far from being over on the road. Yeah, it's
maybe the reason it seems like it's so bright, we're closer to the sun up here than we are down where we live.
Yeah. You can start to see snow patches over there in the woods. Some of these bridges, you know.
Very experienced.
So I think Dan said we were around 5,000 feet in Logan.
Well, I thought Slime said when we pulled into Logan we're 7,700. I might have been all screwed up.
Yeah, well, it was at least 6,000.
Yeah.
So. So we're up high enough now. You can see we're starting to come against groves of aspen, just starting to leaf out, and that's the only other tree other than the cedars.
Man, look at that.
Here we are in the snowfield. It's right down to the water's edge. And hopefully you can see the aspen groves, that nice brighter green. That's about the only thing up here is aspens and cedars. But, yeah, we're definitely in the up high enough to be in the snowfields. And there's pollen, in case you can't tell. I think you're... So, I'm pretty sure this is the Wasatch mountain range we've been cutting through. And our next checkpoint is Bear Lake. So we're here in the, looks like the heart of the snowfield that we can see way back there. So, you know, big snowmobile place up here, Beaver Creek, or skiing, snowmobiling. It's a big rec area, but I think we're getting close to the top.
Getting close to the summit, yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely, we just passed a couple places where the snow came right down to the road. You can probably see it there on the side. This should give you a nice look back down the valley, I think. Canyon. These are canyons. Sorry. So we just crossed over to Wyoming, and we're driving along wondering why the fence is so big. And right there in the middle of the road we came across a group of antelope. We think they're antelope.
Could be.
They could be deer, but they were just coming across the road. You know, but that's why they got the high fences, supposedly to keep them off the road. And now they're going to come back this way.
They're checking us out to see
Yeah,
what we are, flat land tourists.
yeah. I hope they're not going to come up and charge me. So, there they go, down the fence line. So here we are where the deer and the antelope roam in western Wyoming. Whole herd of antelope. Alrighty, traveling friends. We are in the
Continue
Black
on US 85
Hills.
north for 27 miles.
It's a specialized section, and I have a sign back there that says how wide it is and how long it is, but they're called that because they were just covered in pine trees. And there's like 3 or 4 varieties we learned. But you can see it's just as far as you can see, you know, beautiful, good sized hills. And then the only other thing up here are the aspens, which are just starting to bud. And some of them got that little faint green sheen. We are within just a few miles of the South Dakota border, having driven up the boundless prairie of eastern Wyoming. Unbeknown to us, we were on the old Texas Trail. We didn't learn that until about an hour and a half ago. Well, they drove cattle from Texas up to Montana, even to Canada, for several years. But so yeah, this is pretty cool up here. Oh, there's the Buckhorn Saloon. We're a little early for happy hour. Well, looks like an original cabin.
Yeah, it's been there a long time. Yeah. Got a couple of them over inside the.
Yeah. So it's gorgeous up here, but of course, I'm getting ready to enter a new state, and yeah, that's right, we got rain. But here we are in South Dakota. So we're heading to
Welcome to South Dakota.
Mount Rushmore, the Crazy Horse Monument, and then over to Deadwood. We're in the Black Hills National Forest. So, all right. We'll see you when we get to Rushmore. Well, we're over the summit and heading down through. These pine trees are just magnificent. I don't know if you can get a better look there. But, just working our way down. There's just this whole canyon is just covered.
The elevation 6,685 feet up on the top.
So, and we're getting our mountaineering badges. A lot of trees though look broken and bent over. But yeah, they look great, but then you realize they're growing in front of the cliff. It's like, damn, they're thick. They're growing right up the cliff wall. We've seen exactly 2 cars since we left the last the scenic overlook.
It's come pretty good rain. Water's puddled on the roadway.
Because once again, I've entered a new state, therefore I must bring rain. You know, well, it could be worse. Could be a toll booth.
Yeah.
But, just some pretty outstanding scenery. We're going through famous Deadwood, South Dakota.
Turn left onto Lee Street, then you will arrive at your destination.
That's it. He took us to. I don't see Lee Street.
It's down here, I think.
Well, that was Lee Street.
Huh?
That was it.
That was.
But
In a quarter mile, make a U-turn.
Right here's a place you can make one that time. Swing right down that driveway, right back out over here.
just gonna go this way.
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto Shine Street.
I'm on Main Street. Hopefully I can get out of here.
How do you go back that way?
Yeah. Yep. Saloon number 10, historic spot of the Old West, 1876. Right over there, where those two guys are smoking outside. The Fairmont Hotel, another big famous.
Mustang Sally's on
Yeah.
the left.
There's a guy at the boat.
Yeah, got a car coming. A motorcycle.
There's a sign for a brothel. I kid you not. I'm going to drive down there. Can't make this up. Ah, shit. Fell out of the damn thing.
Well, just stop for a second.
Yeah.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Pioneer Way.
Well, hey, fellow travelers. We're just a few miles outside of Mount Rushmore. The rain finally has let up. The snow has stopped. But we came across this gorgeous lake, Pachola Reservoir. This was part of the Water Reclamation Bureau that Teddy Roosevelt set up. And I thought, I have got to get a picture of this. This is just too gorgeous. You can see the fog. We've been driving through fog. We've been driving through snow and rain. We've been driving through snow piles on the road. So, been a great time. All right, bye. So we're here at Swink, Colorado, where my grandfather, my mother, my father, and me, we all went to school here at one point or another. This is the old gymnasium, and in 1962, I was in there practicing duck and cover drills. Down below, they got little rooms down the basement area. You know, the original school was right here. It was an old brick 2-story building, but I see they finally upgraded to a better school. But yeah, but for at least 3 generations went there. So back in the day. It was great. You came in, it had a huge staircase that went upstairs. It was a cool building.
And we'd stand there and sing Christmas carols.
Yeah. So, Swink is a little town between Lahana and Rocky Ford. You know, it's long enough that you can blink twice before you're through it. You know, the house we lived in's been remodeled. My uncle's store is still there, but they've changed that up. But it still looks like, a good part of what we remember. So now we're going to head out to
The old farmstead.
Dad's old homestead. So it's a little cloudy, but you can still get a sense of it. We're heading out southwest of Swink, out to where the Pointers landed and farmed. So, just to give you an idea of, granted, again, I'm sorry it's cloudy, but it's been the story of my trip. But, we just passed a field where they've got cantaloupes coming up. This Rocky Ford melon is famous. I think it was it Eisenhower or Truman? Truman had to have Rocky Ford melons in the White House. went to?
No.
No. You went to someone
We got to
else.
go back this way.
Right.
We stay right on down here. We got about 2-3 miles. 2 miles, I guess.
When I was younger, I remember coming out here.
Oh, this is just before we cross this canal up here.
The Hollis family, which I think was somehow cousins to.
She was Uncle Oliver's daughter.
So she was my mother's cousin, and her daughter Janice had twin boys, Ricky and Roger. But we used to come over here and get eggs all the time, hang out with the boys. And, it was a big deal to go over there. They had a big old farm. So you went off the road and kind of down a little bit. Yeah, as far as you can see, it's just kind of flat. Lot of growing. It's a big agriculture area.
Yeah, I think right about here was Hollis.
That looks like the right house.
Yeah, because it's just before a ditch or right after a ditch.
Yeah, it's right.
But it was right in here.
Right in here, yeah. So you see some of these old stucco homes. Been here a day.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of dirt farmers.
All irrigated. Even got water.
Yep. I remember being so excited when I was old enough to help irrigate. It sounded great. About 2 hours in, when you couldn't feel your arms no more, it was less great. Because they used a kind of a aluminum tube. It was about
Siphon tube.
Yeah, siphon tube was about 2 inches around.
An inch and a half.
And it had a sharp end that came up a bank and then a long one that went into the road. And you had to put the sharp end in the water, cap the end, and kind of pump it to kind of get it suction going. Prime it, and then drop that puppy right in the road, move on to the next. Yeah, this field.
This is Hollis's right
Yeah.
here. I knew it right.
Yeah.
This is all earth farmers.
Yeah, because it's just this side of the canal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Hollises, like I said, they were kin. But hell, it was hard not to find anybody who wasn't kin.
That's the same old house.
Yep.
In my place. Yeah, they're on top
Yeah,
of the
because
hill.
I remember turning in
Yeah.
because we weren't allowed to go near the canal.
Yeah.
Which,
And it's running strong.
yeah,
Man, what's in this car coming soon?
give it a quick peek. And so canals are very important up here. You know, everybody's, you get the call, your water's coming in. I don't care what time, day or night, you better get your butt out there.
Running.
Because you only get so much. You coming down your ditches, you got your little sluice gates to open and shut direct.
We should be able to turn up yonder on the next road and go that way. It's now it's on top of the hill like that one. Second one way over yonder.
Yep.
We'll see.
This is exciting because I never ever knew where you lived.
Because there ain't no house on the hill there. I think it's the next road up.
And after the tour we've been on, I understand why Grandpa moved up here. Although Bosque Farms is pretty good. They're in Albuquerque.
Nice little valley.
Yeah. So why did he leave there? He's got a hair up his ass?
Well, he didn't like the way it was being run by the Hispanics.
That sounds like Everett. then got him a mouse. Something.
Gopher maybe. And this is another irrigation canal.
Wow, somebody done built themselves a palace up there.
Yeah. This Japanese family lived here. Taquitos.
Well, it seemed like there were quite a few of them here in the
A lot of
valley.
Japanese here, yeah.
They come in after the war.
Yeah. Yeah, they got out of the compound and they put them all in. And they come out here.
There was a compound here in Colorado.
Yes, there's one over there by Lamar.
So that's the old home place up
Yeah,
there.
I think so. There should be a road going up there in a minute. Yeah, down yonder.
Yeah, so they grow wheat and melons and
Everything.
tomatoes.
Corn.
Didn't we grow tomatoes?
They grow tomatoes out in the turf right here, I think.
Yeah, I know my grandparents' ranch, which we can't go to. But it's on the other side of the river. They grew tomatoes because I remember we had a migrant family that would come in, and they just made the circuit. They would start down in Brownsville, Texas, and pick fruit, just kind of work their way up as the crops, and then come up here and circle back around every year. Be the same family, and Uncle Lonnie, Dad's sister Hazel's brother, his family had the grocery store in Sweet, which is now a mini mart. But they come up there. They kind of had they always stayed together. But every year it was the same family with new ones. And
We used to have to turn and go down the canal. But this year was the Bradford Farm. One of my first girlfriends lived here. They used to have a house.
girlfriend in every state, huh?
But
You go over
their
this.
house was right here. And we drive up the, should be able to drive up the canal bank right up to the old home place.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it looks like you go right over.
Yeah, I think they probably just drive right straight up to it. But they had to build it now. No, not there. Over here. Hold up here. Over there.
I'm gonna say I thought we had to go over the canal.
Yeah. No, don't go over it. You turn right here and run the bank up.
Oh, this bank.
Yeah. Watch it. Here comes big up flashing lights.
All right, I'll let him.
And this is called the Highland Canal. This is where we got to irrigate them.
So sorry about that, but this is the Highland Canal, and
That's the old homes.
that's the old home place from when Dad lived here. So now that you guys did a lot of
Hey,
hay
Dad built a dairy barn down below the hill.
and with the dairy.
Yeah. He used to have honeybees all over here where this big building is. The guy would come out and put his hives up and give Dad honey every year to go around now.
I'm just gonna prepare and turn around.
It's going to be tough turning in there. Yeah, but you can turn around here, yeah. There's,
Yeah, no, that's what I meant right here.
yeah, you
This
get a
looks
better
like
view.
it's pretty safe.
Better view of the house. Oh yeah, there's rocks all over the place. See, he's opened up canals. But now our irrigating ditch, you can see where it went around that way. We had 18 acres back over yonder, and way off over there, there was a little old house where Hazel and Lonnie lived. For a while, Uncle Ed lived in it. And
On the back side of the hill.
oh no, 2 hills over. There's 3 hills here. There was 2 hills over. That road going right out of the way, take up to it, but that's all right. Let's just go down this road here. It'll come down on the back side. We used to have a big old implement shed down there on the bottom side, which was about 100 feet long. It was part of an old army barracks out at the Lahana Air Force Base, and they sold them out, so they moved it out here for the implement shed. And they had built the dairy barn just the other side of this hill here, down on the bottom, and drilled a well there, water and all that good stuff. But anyway, that's it. The old house. They didn't have that chimney. We didn't have a fireplace when we was there. We just had a regular old wood stove. But it looked like they had built a big old fire. If you get up on the hill, you shoot the land that we plowed.
Okay. So let's see if we can get a picture.
I don't know what the hell that guy's driving around celebrating.
So the head gates Dad's talking about, you can see him right there.
The second one over.
Yeah. And you screw them up or screw them down to control the amount of water coming through.
And we had that ditch right about where that white propane tank is. And
Yeah, and there's another set of gates right here.
yeah, that's Mr. Taquitas. And a ditcher and scooped the ice out of the ditch, and we buried it out there in that ditch. And the ice broke through, and the thing had been so wet, and Taquita had to come up with his cat to pull us out.
Oh. Was in case you buried you buried it, you fix it?
You
get it out?
Wouldn't know what day to get it out. So he went down and talked to Taquita, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's no problem." So he come up here with his cat. But everybody had a big heavy tractor to plow with, you know. So this should make a little curve that way, down yonder, and you can see all of our fields that way.
And you ran dairy as well.
Yes, we had the dairy. Yeah. Yeah, there's the old dairy barn sitting there right yonder, see?
We're kind of at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, a lot of them.
All right, let me get up here where I can get a shot back that way.
And there's the land we farmed. It looks like the dairy barn's about to fall in.
Yeah. So there's the dairy barn Grandpa spent time in.
We built it.
They built it. And then
This is what we farmed, 160 acres.
that was all there. That's a lot of land.
160 acres.
Dear God, you constantly plowing.
Roping and dropping, plowing, and pull it again, and then looked like it just going to run right on top of you and put the other piles up, the other one down.
And yeah, and it had 3 plows?
3 plows on each side, yes.
Did you ever plow with all of them down?
Oh, well, you just plow with this one down, and then you turn it over and plow with that one down. You go down the road, then turn around and come right back. And that way you didn't have to run that way. You just plowed north and south, or east and west, whichever way you plowed the field. It was pretty good. Okay, now all around the corner here, we should be able to see where we had a little, what they call a labor shack, and Uncle Bill lived in it. And it should be pretty close to it, but they might have built that new house there. This was the Highland.
That's another place you could use.
But anyway,
Link over.
yeah, the labor shack was down just underneath the hill here, but it was down there because our property ended right along in here someplace. Well, I guess the road used to go right by it. That's the old foundation for it over there, I guess.
Well, there's OSC's foundation.
That's the end of our field right there. And then this Nakamoto Japanese family. man to sleep going from end of the road to end of the road, which was usually close to a quarter of a mile. It was a long ways down there. Seemed to me like it was a mile. It was a long ways down there. He'd go to sleep. One day, I was irrigating and I seen Wayne stop down almost in the canal, drainage canal, this one here. And he went to sleep. Then when he woke up, he had about 1.5 feet of the caterpillar hanging off in the canal, and he couldn't turn loose. He grabbed the brakes, and he couldn't turn loose the brakes and change the gears, put it in reverse. And he's hollering and screaming, and the motor's running full bore. And I seen him down there, and it was just a tad bit ornery. I went ahead and set my water.
We're so surprised about that.
Made him sit there for, well, it seemed like about, he said it was there for 2 hours, but I know better. He probably didn't sit there no longer than 25 to 30 minutes. But it was so much fun. And then I threatened not to put it in reverse for him. He was ready to kill me.
Yeah, there's nothing it's doing as a little brother. But it was just doing your job.
Yeah.
So where was your school from here?
Well, it should be right around it if they didn't tear it down.
There's a few things right here that don't look like they've been torn down much.
Japanese family lived here too. And there was a whole bunch of them down there.
So there was a camp down by Lamar, you said?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were camps here.
I think it was between Lamar and the state line.
Yeah.
Grenada, I think it was. It should be the school should be down here. Eliminated all the water to drink, but we had to, until Dad dug the well, we had to come down here and get water in 500-gallon tanks, and that was an everyday job. The dairy cows drank 500 gallons a day. Now we bailed hay off all that land out there. That was Mr. Eaton's farm. Okay, now turn right. Now there's where the old water took. Pull over here. That's the school. That's the old school. That's Grand Valley School. And these concrete pads is where the 500-gallon water tank's at. And then right up there where that hose comes down is where we fill up that 500-gallon tank. You can get out there, the creeks are all around. But that's the old school right there. Now, they added on all that stuff.
So this is where they used to come to get water till they dug a well. There's those big old tanks set up on there. And you can just kind of see the pipe and hose. And if it was an everyday thing, they had to come get 500 gallons because they were milking so many cows. So this was Grand Valley School. It was grade school through junior high. This is where Dad and all his brothers and sisters went. Well, it's not his older ones, but Dad and Peggy and Jimmy went here. Not too far from the farm, but back where that bus is where the outhouses were. So it wasn't too far from the school. But yep, this is where he went, and this is right on the line. So
Yeah, on that side, we'd jump out and get away from our teacher. We called him Buzzard Bait Scott. He was an old man who was 70 years old, but he taught us more than any teacher we ever had. They had 3 8th graders and 5 7th graders. That's what he taught, was 7th and 8th grade.
yep. So just you, because Wayne and Hazel were older, right?
Yeah. Now Jim and Peg went to school in the lower section, and that had kindergarten all the way through the 4th, 5th, 6th grades. 5th and 6th grades on this side, 7th, 8th was on that side, on the upstairs, and the whole bottom floor was for the first
First batch.
Yeah, first batch. But yeah, old Mr. Scott. But this, yep. So,
All right, so we're gonna go up this corner and turn around.
and
Because everybody was doing a lot of beet, right?
we raised a lot of sugar beets, yeah. And they set it up out there in this blank field, and the train would come through it, but they loaded the boxcars. Here's the store. Used to be. Looks like it ain't much of anything right now.
No, you can see it.
It's been there a day or two. And that field right out there where them trees are at is where the beet dump was.
Yeah, there were about 5 different sugar factories around.
Well, there's 3. American Crystal, Holly, and National. Past the 8th grade. Except his daughter. Now, the boys at the 8th grade, they had to quit and get out of here and haul in this machinery. And he'd go to auction sales and buy it, and they would either repair it or sell it. And usually he had 20 or 30 tractors up there and just acres of nothing but farm equipment. And this was the old Heatville Dairy Farm up here. And we baled hay all through here.
So you ran your own dairy, your own farm, and still baled hay.
For everybody in the country. And Dad would bale up to 400,000 or 500,000 bales a year for the neighbors and everybody. And
Per fee.
Yeah, $4 a ton is what he
$4 a ton.
is what he got paid to bale it. Yes. Now this was all sugar beets and onions and cantaloupes. A lot of Japanese folks. This was Nakamoto. They lived here in this place.
Will this take us by Petromalis?
It'll take us right by Petromalis, yes. But Mr. Heaton farmed all this. He didn't like Dad telling him when to cut his hay. And if you wanted Dad to cut it, you'd have to set an appointment when to cut so he could schedule getting in and cutting it, baling it. But nobody tells me what to do, you know. But Dad said that's fine. So he hired some old boy that had a New Holland baler, and he cut his hay when he wanted to, but that guy couldn't get to it, and his hay got real dry. And then when he fired up that New Holland baler and went trying to bale it, it had that horse head that tamped it down into the baler so it would bale. It broke all the stems, and he lost all the leaves off his hay, and he was riding and complaining and running his dairy feed. And Dad said, well, I'll get to it if it gets so. So we waited till it was a little moisture had raised during the night. And Dad baled nighttime and daytime too. And Timber's Creek, that's right. And we slipped in there about 1:30. My job was to help Dad at night and sleep in the car. And we slipped in there and baled up that whole farm there before old Mr. Heaple woke up the next morning and made a sure customer out of him. I mean, yes sir, Mr. Warner, when you want me to cut it? And everything just worked out great. And this here was just friends that all went to school there, some of them. And this was also the Swink High School district. They come and went to Swink High School. But yeah, it looks like they're doing a lot of irrigating now, but a little bit different than when I was a youngster.
Now, did you use those suction pipes too?
No, we didn't have no pipes like that.
No, those.
Yeah, siphon tubes, yeah.
Yeah.
Siphon tubes, that's what they were.
Spent many a day just carrying them things down.
Yeah.
Get the cost start getting the tubes out there ready for people
Yeah.
so they can come out. So Larry and Grandpa. I recall Mother out there a few times.
Yeah.
Nice thing was you came back in,
This
Grandma.
used to be the old Fujimoto place. They didn't have no feed yard there. There was a Japanese family that raised lots of cantaloupes and watermelons, and I think they even raised some celery there. And all of our buddies lived out from different farms back this way. You know. Now, right up here, a little ways, we should come up to another old school, and it was called Fairview School. And we had a softball team in the junior highs, and we would play Fairview, and back over north of us here a ways was another school. Well, there's where they got their water here. But we'd play Newdale and Fairview and Avondale baseball. So if you went, had enough to 5th, 6th, 7th grades to have a baseball team, softball team, that's where you went. We played in different schools. Japanese farmer, and they had the land wrong in here. There should be a road right here. Just inside this. What's it?
Yeah, I see the sign.
And then take us up to our good friend Mike Petramali's place, where Lawrence and I helped Mike out a lot of times with his cattle and his sheep and whatever he needed. And I think Tom got hooked in at a time or two.
Oh, damn those sheep stink. I think Grandpa helped him take them up
To the mountains.
yeah. Oh.
And then all this over here was Mike Petramali's farm. Oh. There's the tubes you're talking about to get a good
Yeah.
shot of right there.
Sorry about that, but you can see
The siphon tubes.
there's the siphon tubes. Each one of those is put in by hand. It's got the sharp neck into the water, then a long spout on the other side, and each one was done by hand.
Whatever you watered, each one got his own tube. And to speed up the flow, you stick it a little deeper in the water to slow it. You take it out of the water a little bit, and to slow it down, you raise the bottom end of it up a little bit, and that would keep so much water going in, so all the rows flowed the same. Yeah, this is all Mike's place here. It don't look like they done anything to the house, the old grain elevator. He built that. They just couldn't understand why he spent so much money for a big grain elevator,
The building over there.
Yeah, that big tall thing. And this is some of the corrals that he worked the sheep in. So he had lots and lots of sheep, I think. Anywhere 8,000 to 10,000 head most of the time. And get them in here, we'd work them and load them up. And all across this hill, it was quite an operation.
I think I got a good shot of
Yeah,
the grain back here.
Grain, yeah. Grain elevator.
So that's Mr. Mike's old house, and there's the grain elevator built. Everybody thought he was crazy.
Nicest guy you ever met. He'd give you anything and shirt off his back if you needed it. If you needed help, he'd drop what he was doing and come and help you. And we sort of cattle in these things.
All I know is I rode for a while that little sheep herder's wagon thing. Oh my God, I thought my butt was hamburger.
Should be a road going down this way.
That was the roughest riding thing. That old wagon.
But it used to be up on that way. No, I think there's a road.
Yep.
Yeah, the hot line goes down. They go down that road.
Because as a kid, I never paid attention. We just, you got in the truck.
Well, there's your area in that water, isn't it?
Yeah.
The hay looks good.
You get in the truck, keep your mouth by it. Just sit there.
And this is still Mike's farm over on the right. And we get up here to the end of it. We should be able to turn and go back in 10. There used to be an old sanitarium hospital up here on this next road. And years ago, they used to house people in it. I think after the last bought it, they tore it down. I think you turn this road here and go right straight back. But that old sanitarium's there over here. And this should take you right straight back out here to Swing. Yeah.
I don't know if I can get a good enough shot.
And we'll go back down here and hit 10, and then we'll drive past the Everett Marshall Farms, which back in the day, he had a big feedlot there. He employed probably 15 or 20 people to keep the cattle fed, grain mixed, so forth. And really a big man. He was a pro wrestler, and he used to wrestle the circuit out in Philadelphia and places like that. I know that my ex-father-in-law used to watch Everett Marshall wrestle. At one time, he was a heavyweight champion of the world. And he had all these farms down here and so forth. But this is where the old sanitarium was, right here on this hill.
Oh yeah, you can see they've torn it down.
And then this is the backside of Mike's sheep farm operation. Down yonder where that truck is, we'll turn left and follow right back in to Lahana. But Mike owned all of this here. He farmed all this. Looks like their corn's coming up pretty good. Yeah, it's in rows. Hay's looking good. Most crops look all right. Left over there. And
That was Everett Marshall.
Everett Marshall,
The big wrestler.
the wrestler, yes.
Okay.
And he would put a herd of goats in the bottom of the silo, and then they would blow the silage up in there, and he'd just leave the goats in there, but at night he'd put in a barrel of water for them to drink, and then they just packed that down and made silage for the livestock. And That way, he didn't have to worry about packing it down so it would hold true together. But all of this, both sides of the road, still a bunch on that side of feedlot. And here's one of his grain elevators that he built to feed him cattle. But he owned all this land here and so forth. And then we're coming up to one of the drain ditches, then I think Tim Creek runs down through here. Someplace, yeah, here's Tim. It's either here, yeah,
There's a twisty, turny little creek.
yeah, there's Tim because it's this side of the cliffs.
So I finally found my great-grandparents' grave, Cemetery Master Rough. This is Thomas, who I am named after. He was my mother's grandfather. And you can see he died just a few months before I was born. And my great-grandmother, Eva, who was a little too tough to die, died right after my daughter was born. Okay, we found the bushes. Uncle Harold. And I believe these are my great-grandparents, my grandmother's people. They lived out in North Lahana, and I believe this might have been a sister-in-law. And this is my grandparents, my mother's people. Elsie and Helen lived hard, worked hard. So we're heading out of Colorado. We had a good day. Except for Dad's biscuit and gravy disaster. But they've been instructed in the error of their ways in the nicest of terms. He's much smoother than I am. Found his old home place, his old school. Went back to the swing school. They tore down the old high school building. Well, the old main school building. Everything was in there. It's where I went to first and second grade. My mother graduated there. My grandfather went there. My uncle went there. And of course, I was second, third cousin to probably 75% of the kids in my class. But my cousin Kathy and Glenn and Jess all went there. Aunt Hazel's kids.
Wayne's kids went there once.
Yeah, Wayne's kids went there at one point. And then we went over in cemetery and found, the Adcocks in the bushes. So my grandparents and both sets of great-grandparents. Took a bit, we found it. And then had a good afternoon visit with Uncle Larry and Aunt Maxine. I haven't seen them in maybe 20 years. I don't know. Helen died what? 88? Yeah. Since 1988. Because they've been at a couple other, we've just kind of missed each other, at events. So we're heading out of the state. And we're going to be coming through a little town called Granada. And Dad could tell you that.
Well, they told us when we moved up here that Granada was where they had a concentration camp for the Japanese Americans during World War II. And they gathered them up and put them up here on farms, and just like a prison camp. And it was here until after the war, and then they were released. But there was, at one time, I guess, several families out here on little farms and areas where they can raise their own food, but there was all still had to be concentrated around, just like a prison, you might say. Yeah, that's what
There
they
it
told
is.
us.
We just passed it. There's a road. There's a memorial there. But that explains why there were so many Japanese families up around Swink. Because you said you had the Takadas and...
Oh yeah, we had Takitas, Agamotto, Pochamuda, Shivas. There was probably 15 to 20 different families up there, which was all real nice. A lot of them was my schoolmates. You know, it was just a nice bunch of people. But they just is at the wrong time, the wrong place. They got caught up.
Yeah. So this is,
That's how it got on.
downtown Corona, but they do have a sign in a memorial about the camp that we passed, so
But we're going too fast to get back to it.
yeah. Well, it's ways down the road, and I did want to give a moment for that. As you can see, it's another quality rundown little pissant town. Old adobe and new prefab.
Yeah. Old onion shed. That's what
Yeah,
that
there was the museum we just passed.
That's the old one there.
And there was the museum. They do have the museum downtown. So,
Looks like the school over there.
yeah.
What's this car here? So it might be a car. I believe it is a car. Ollie Tin Bombs. Syracuse. Yeah. So we stay right on.
So we just passed through Coolidge, Kansas, which is the first town coming in Kansas when you're coming from Lahana. It's famous for the movie National Lampoon Vacation. This is where we meet Cousin Eddie. But the other side note is we've been on the Santa Fe Trail ever since we got to Lahana. Turn south of Lahana towards Walsenburg.
Yeah.
So, not bad. In 4 days, we've covered 3 of the major wagon trails in the expansion west. So, just a historical side note. So here we are in downtown Kinsley, Kansas, at one of my favorite restaurants, Tom's Country Kitchen. Yes, I got to chain them across the west. Want you to notice what a nice job I did on painting that red, just like our shed. Y'all come down, coffee's hot, wait, the people are friendly, and the food is great.
Again, he must have miller bugs and stuff right close by to feed them.
So we stopped at a rest area here in Stafford County, Kansas. We're sitting there taking a drink in a minute, and we noticed this bird kept coming to this tree, and pretty damn soon somebody's head pops out. And then, she's up, then she'll pop out, and here he comes back, and so there she comes out again. She's waiting like damn, that man takes forever. But there's plenty of moss and a lot of bugs around, so he should be back with something here in a minute. But they're living in a cottonwood.
That's about a foot across.
Yeah, it's a younger one. But that's a good nest. Given how windy it could be out here, and
Yeah, really.
they can get some pretty nasty rainstorms, so that's good choice.
Yeah, they made a good choice.
So Dad found himself a new addition for his field of dreams out there with his tractors. Now, next we just got to find a horse. But we're here at Carriage Crossing. I think you can see it's a Mennonite restaurant, and we're looking forward to lunch and some serious baked goods. Here we are at the Piggery, Friday night, barbecue and blues and rock.
Okay. So, getting ready to, take off. Oh, my hair's horrible. We'll edit that. But there was a story that Dad told, and neither John or I had our phones out, which most people find that hard to believe, but it happened. But it's pretty incredible. Couple of pretty incredible stories. Apparently, our family has 2 degrees of separation from Roswell. That's right, the Roswell. So we just came back to cemetery. Saw my grandparents' graves, Aunt Peggy, and my great uncle Ed, who's Dad's uncle. And Ed is the connection. So I'm going to let Dad tell that story. So we have it recorded because it's pretty amazing. And then he's got a second story about an event that happened when they were living in Albuquerque. So. All right, Dad.
Well, when the UFO crashed in Roswell, Uncle Ed was working on a ranch out there, and he said that they was riding fence after a big storm had come in, and in order to make sure that the cattle couldn't get out, and they see all this commotion over there with army trucks, and then it was parts of laying out in the middle of their pastures. So they gathered up these parts, and then pretty soon there was a army personnel, act like he had a lot of authority, come over and said, give me every one of those parts. You can't have no part of this. This is all top secret stuff, And Uncle Ed said we had to give up everything we'd picked up. And then they told us to ride far away from that area and do not hang out there. But he said we didn't do it. We rode far enough we could keep a watch, and said trucks came and went all day long, army trucks. And then after they finally loaded up the UFO, they hauled in dump truck loads of dirt and a bulldozer and straightened it out and covered up the crash site where it looked like it had never happened. And so he said it was nothing but just a total sham is what the government put over on the American people, because he said there was actually something out there that crashed, and all kinds of indications that might have had life aboard. They came out with some small coffins, but said they never did see any live people walking around or anything walking around, but they did unload a couple of live coffins, and he said that they got them so far out that they couldn't see anything else. But he was right there just shortly after the thing crashed. I think the thing crashed, and it was about 2 or 3 days before the sheriff and everybody got out there to where it was at, and they was riding the range and saw it. So that's our connection with Roswell.
Now, didn't you say there was a funny kind of metal?
The metal, he said, was like the aluminum foil. You could squeeze it shut in your hand real tight, and then you'd open it and just lay it out there, and it would go back to its original design. And they said they'd never seen anything like that. And then they had some small pieces there that was about 1 inch wide, maybe a 3/4 inch thick, and they were so strong that they couldn't bend it. They could not break it. They couldn't do anything to it. So they tried on their saddle and on the fence post and everything else, and they couldn't make any of it bend or break or do anything. But they had to give all that up. And then in 1947, I think it was, when they tested the atomic bomb, Nancy and I and that was done down there at Alamogordo, which is right next to Roswell. Nancy and I was going to the dairy barn about 4 o'clock that morning.
And now you were living in Boswell Farms, south of
Bosque Farms.
Bosque Farm.
We were living at Bosque Farms in Albuquerque.
How far is that from Alamogordo?
That's probably 150, 200 miles maybe, straight across. But when we got about halfway to the dairy barn, which was probably, 100 feet from the house or something like that, might have been a little further. To me, it seemed like a long ways. I was just a kid. But the whole sky lit up. Half the sky lit up. And Nancy grabbed my hand, and we ran to the dairy barn and got back in the back of the feed room, because we didn't have the least idea what was fixing to happen next. And then all of a sudden it died down, and about the time we decided it was safe to take another look, then it flared up about half what it did the first time, and then went dark, and that was our little indication of the atomic bomb when it was first tested in Alamogordo.
So, well, that's pretty stinking cool. 2 major historic events, and we had live on the ground reporters. How about that?
Yeah, we were there.
We were there. We're everywhere. When you least expect us,
Yeah.
we're going to be there. All right. So this ends the great heritage tour. But, we've seen everybody, found almost everybody we were looking for. Went some places neither one of us had been. Saw buffalo. We saw prairie dogs. We saw antelope. We saw
turkeys.
The rare New Mexico wild turkey, who is now living in Wyoming.
They transferred to Wyoming. Yeah.
I get it though. There was enough Gila monsters or grasshoppers in New Mexico. So it's been good.
We've had one wonderful trip.
Yep.
Something I'll never forget. Love you, brother.
Love you. Ta-ta for now.